Folks, welcome back to So Bad It's Good, presented by Betches Media. If you've been listening to this show or watching this show the last couple of weeks, you know I am completely obsessed with Love Island USA. Even though I live in California, my heart is in Fiji with those Islanders right now. And we have one of the Islanders who had a little bit of a journey. She kind of had a suicide mission because she was one of the bombshells going into Casa Amor on day 17. And then she entered the villa with Kordell on day 20. And unfortunately, her untimely demise on day 24. But even in that short amount of time, she had so many amazing moments, and I can't wait to get her perspective on all of it. So please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Daia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
How are you doing? Because this seems like such a fishbowl environment. Is it really crazy to be on the other side and have your cell phone again and listen to what we're all yapping about?
It's kind of crazy, but also like it feels so comfortable to just be out of it. It's so intense, and there's so many things that go on when you're in the villa. Not intense in like a crazy way. It's just a lot going on. There's a lot of emotions. Your emotions are running high, and it's just crazy. It's different to like real life. So it feels really comfortable to just be like at my mom's house, hanging out. Less drama. Like I'm pretty chill.
Yeah, way less drama. I mean, I've never seen so many tears within the span of a month that I've seen on that show.
You know, you didn't see a lot of my tears. I cried like 3 times a day.
Did you really?
Yeah, there was like the first day I was in the first full day I was in the villa. I literally cried. I literally cried all throughout my lunch, and I was crying like a lot. But I think they only showed me crying once, which was really funny. And I'm kind of happy.
Yeah, like you seem like one of the stronger ones. So it's wild to think about what we don't see. But what I said in the intro is so true. Is that, you know, you were a bombshell in Casa Amor. And for those people that are still not watching, what's wrong with you? But if you are, you know that Casa Amor is where the guys go over to the separate villa and meet all of these bombshells, and they really test their relationships. And most of these men failed pretty much immediately. But then you get pulled back in, and you know, it's like you know, the guys have made their own bed, but you ladies did nothing wrong, and you have to come in. Can you take us through what that feeling is of just standing there with Ariana and the rest of the people just looking at you with laser eyes?
I think you made such a good point that like we didn't ask to be taken back to the villa. In fact, I literally told Kordell multiple times, I was like, if you're not feeling this connection, don't take me back. Like, this on like your opinion only. Don't think about me. Don't think about Serena. Like, if you make this decision, make it on your own. I think that's really important to say, but also the fact that like we didn't know that the girls were sleeping outside and not getting to know the guys and all this stuff. We're thinking the girls like are coupled up with other guys, and we're like, okay, we didn't expect it to be easy breezy, but you know, it definitely didn't. We didn't expect that. So like before we walked in, I was pretty nervous because I'm like, I don't know if she's by herself. I don't know if she's with someone else. I was hoping that like maybe she found another connection, and like me and Kordell could just keep living in fairy tale land. But like before going in, he was like holding my hand, and he's like, look, like it's okay, don't be nervous. And I'm like, literally, you're shaking. Like I can see his hair. Yeah, he's telling me don't be nervous. He's like, you have nothing to worry about. You and Serena will get along great. I can't wait to introduce you. It's literally his exact words. And I was like, we're probably not going to be introduced tonight, but eventually I think we would get along. Like she seems like a great girl. Like so.
By the way, you did end up getting along. I mean, you really did. But it is funny that he would think that, or he would even say that, because I would never think that or say that if I was never.
About her, I was like, I love her style. I think she's funny. Like I think we'd actually get along. Like I knew that we would get along. So like walking in, like he was reassuring me of all that. So I'm like, all right, this is going to be like uncomfortable, but not as bad. So he was shaking, I was shaking, but we're like, we're just going to walk in confident. And like we both said that we smile in uncomfortable situations. So everyone took that as me being an asshole, and I'm just like laughing in everyone's face. I was literally like on the brink of tears, and I was just trying to be like confident and like stand on what I came in there for, you know what I mean? So walking in, he's terrified for his life, like gripping my hand, and he's like, oh my God, they're looking at me. And I was like, Kordell, pick your head up. Like you just said you were excited to bring me back, like get it together, you know? And then I think when he saw her and like realized how much he had hurt her and that she was standing alone and everything, I think that's when he like his world just kept crumbling down, and he's like, what the hell did I just do? But like for us, it was very like, we just did not expect that reaction at all. And like literally all the Casa girls went to the bathroom after, and we started crying, but we were like, we don't want to show the cameras that we're crying. want to show the girls that we're crying because we want to just like try to be as strong as possible. But we all felt like very uncomfortable. And the OG girls had the right to feel uncomfortable and be pissed, but we definitely also felt that uncomfortable and like, what the hell is going on right now?
Well, I mean, Casa Amor really, from my perspective, and I think a lot of people's perspective, really highlights how dumb men are. Like, we just don't think with our head in any of the right, like, kind of way. Because, you know, you saw it with Kordell, you saw it with Aaron, you saw it with all of these men, and then they immediately get back to the main villa, and it's just they can't believe the pain that they've caused. But you go, you know, like, how did you get involved in this show? And was there a potential, like, did you know you were going to be a bombshell in Casa Amor, or was there a chance that you were going to be one of the main islanders? Do you get to choose in any sort of way?
Oh my God, no, I wish. I would never put on my worst enemy to be a Casa girl. It's like you're literally set up for failure. Like, it's all that. But like, I wanted to do the show. So it was like, when I found out, I was like, okay. But pretty much my thing, I started applying. I applied in November, and I had never seen the show, but I had just became single, and my best friend was like, you should try to do Love Island. I'm like, whatever, all right.
Wait, you become single and your best friend says go do Love Island? I feel like that's potentially bad advice.
Horrible advice, but I love him, and he was like, yeah, you should do Love Island. I'm like, oh, okay, well, like, why not? I like knew a friend who did the Australian version, so I was like, well, that didn't go so bad for her, so why not? I'll just try it out. So I apply. Like, the next day I get a response, and they're like, yeah, let's do an interview. So I was one of the first people that actually had a whole interview process with them, to the point where I had to wait until I think April to like get a definite answer. But they kept saying like, we really like you, but you know, we still have to interview everyone else. So I thought like, oh, I have this in the bag. I'm an OG, I'm a first bombshell, like whatever. And I got flown out May 27th. I got flown out quite early. So I was like, every day I'm like, well, I'm going to the villa tomorrow, I'm going to be the bombshell. I didn't realize until a month and like a week into sitting in my hotel room that I was like, I think I'm a Casa girl. And then I got the call, and they were like, yeah, you're a Casa girl. And I was like, oh, okay, like this is going to be a different experience.
So you're just chilling in Fiji for like 3 weeks?
Well, like, I didn't have a phone. So I think that's one of the things people think, that I was scrolling on my phone, commenting on OBJ's photos and liking. I literally didn't have it at all. Like, I had no access to my phone for like 2 months. And yeah, so you're just sitting in the room, and you have to like, you know, you're not really allowed to like roam freely around, but they'll take you to do little activities and stuff throughout the day. So not too bad. But I didn't know going into Casa that like Kordell and Serena had anything more than like a friendship connection. I've told both of them this, because I actually was watching the episodes every day, but I stopped watching when Nigel and Serena went on a date. So after that, I wasn't really allowed to watch any more episodes, and until, because I was going into Casa. So like then right after that, that's when they had a really deep connection, and like they started really liking each other and growing and having these deep conversations. I didn't see any of that. So going in, I was like, well, I like Kordell. Here I go. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, that's what you know, you went in and you kind of had your sights set on Kordell. You said, I really vibe with this person. And do you regret in retrospect not leaving yourself open for some of the other men, even though I don't know what would have been a better pick, but like, it is funny. You kind of knew what you had wanted right from the get-go.
Yeah, well, because I was watching the episodes like from day one, I was like, Kordell is so my type, because I loved how he, like, I loved his style. I thought he was really handsome. And then the more that I saw him, like, hey, I made avocado toast for you today, to Serena. And like, you know, she's like, oh, thanks. Like, you know, whatever. But, you know, she didn't really like that kind of stuff. And to me, I was like, oh my God, I would love if someone did that, because I'm the person that I want to do nice things for you. And I've never really had it reciprocated. So I was like, I wonder how, like, usually in the real world, I'll go for like a Miguel or something like that. But I was like, I'm already super attracted to Kordell, and I just wanted to see what it would be like to date someone who was similar to me in that way. So when I went in, I felt like he hadn't had that person that was just like 100% about him. And like, I literally was waiting in a room like, oh my God, like, I can't wait to meet Kordell. And then like, so when I had the opportunity, I was like, I feel like he deserves someone going to come in and be 100% about him. Like, I thought other guys were attractive. I could have made connections there, but from the literal moment that we met, I was like, you're cute. And he kind of like was like, oh, thanks. And then we started chatting shit away, and our connection just grew. So I was like, I don't need to talk to anyone else. I like you, and you're who I
know. that's why it was so not confusing, but as an audience member, I've been watching from the get-go, and I really thought Serena had more of a friendship vibe with Kordell. And then, you know, you come to realize that she's just very like, you know, protecting her heart, and she waits to feel things supposedly, or waits to like actually trust somebody. And this kind of really caused her a lot of pain. So I thought this was kind of perfect because I thought we were all rooting for Kordell because after Stick and Twist, he was sat there with his sad champagne glass. So I thought, good, I'm
devastated.
I thought, what? Yeah, I thought somebody was there to like, you know, for Kordell. So I was really excited. And then when we got back to the villa, I got so confused because all this, Serena took it so hard. And I think, do you ever wonder if Serena had been like kind of blasé about it, if you guys would still be together? I mean, do you allow yourself to have thoughts like that?
So the thing is, I feel like I relate to Serena so much because I've actually been hurt so many times in relationships, and going in, like even before I went into the villa, I had like kind of dated, and I was just noticing that I was really hard. Like I had like a big wall, and that was something while I was in quarantine for that month, I was really working on. And I was like, I don't want to come in here and be like I feel like I need to be like fighting for my life or having to like build walls up. And I was like, I just want to give this guy 100% because I could tell that he was really genuine. And I really just wanted to try to soften up and not give that hardship. So I understand Serena's point of view, to be honest. I understand why she took a little bit longer because she is used to getting hurt. So I kind of got that when, you know, that whole situation was going on. But at the same time, I didn't know that she was like not getting to know other people in the villa. I thought she was like getting to know other guys and doing in Casa. Maybe she'd even come back with like walking in, I'm thinking like she's gonna have another guy on her arm and everything is gonna be kumbaya. No, didn't go.
But doesn't that speak to the I think that's the amazing part of the show. It speaks to the differences between men and women, is that women kind of form these emotional bonds, and men are looking to like, you know, make out. And like we saw it with Aaron and Daniela in Casa, where, I mean, and he's still paying the price of that. But at the same time, all of these men are kind of back with the women that they initially started with. So I don't think there was any really true long-term consequences. Did that boggle your mind coming back into the villa and watching Kayla and Aaron get back together, Serena and Kordell? Were you kind of like, this is a crazy show?
So like watching Kayla and Aaron, no, I was not surprised at all. I knew that they were going to get back together straight away. Like, it didn't surprise me at all. But then with Serena and Kordell, I was like, well, I feel like seeing your guy that you like, whether she liked him 100% or she wasn't really sure, she still liked him to some capacity because she stayed with him. And I feel like, and also like, because I hadn't seen this until movie night, that she was like crying and really upset when he was gone at Casa and sleeping outside. I didn't know any of that in Casa. So I feel like she, you know, had that kind of connection with him where she was like, it's not nice to see him with another girl. And almost seeing that is like, well, what the hell? Like, that's my man. Like, and she didn't act like that. She wasn't like with me. She was very much, we got along well. But I just think, you know, it definitely does make you be like, oh no, like, I'm going to go get back my man. You know what I mean? And like, I think him seeing her so upset at the recoupling is what really did it for him. Like, so I wasn't surprised at all because he was really upset. And I understand that they had 2 weeks to grow a connection. And so we only had 4 days. So like, even though he felt our connection was like up here, like he still had a lot more loyalty to her. So seeing her so hurt and upset, and he's like, wow, she is actually really passionate about me. And she does really like me. Like, of course he's going to fold and be like, yeah, I'm going to go back to that. Like, I'm happy that he did, but not surprised.
I was watching you on After Sun this past weekend, and, you know, it was great because Kordell and Serena both had goodbye messages for you. And it showed like, it seemed like Serena and you, for the little time that you were in there, kind of formed a very strong bond, even through all the craziness. It really does seem like she is going to miss you. Would you like to get to know her more on the outside world?
Oh my God, like literally, it's not shown, but we were together every day. Like we would go, and it shows me like pulling her a lot to be like, this is what Kordell told me. But that is not like what happened at all. Like every time she would talk to Kordell, she'd talk to her OG girls, and then she'd come to me and she'd be like, so this is what happened. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm feeling really confused and frustrated. And sometimes she would just like wrap her arms around me and give me a hug. And like, I would tell her, like, I just had a conversation with him. I don't know what to think. And like, but we never told each other like, hey, like, we never tried to throw like shade at each other to like stop talking to him. It was always just like, this is how I feel about Kordell right now. What should I do? And I had the same like opinion towards her. And I feel like that wasn't really shown. But like me and Serena, if you can see at the recoupling, they try to make it so my face looks like, no, I was literally smiling. I was so happy and ready to go home. I could not wait to pack my bags. But I was like holding Serena's hand. And when they did the recoupling, I literally was like smiling. I told her, like, go get your man. She came and gave me a hug. I was like, I love you. Like, we plan to like hang out in LA together. People think that that's so unbelievable. I'm like, we literally are friends. Like, as soon as she gets out of the villa, I'm going to see her. So.
And then I liked Kordell's message to you because he was like, so sorry, hey, sorry if I led you on. And he was like kind of like hangdog about it. And I thought it was actually cute, but he was like, there was, a stronger connection that I had. And it was very funny, but it seemed like you walked away with no resentment towards anybody. Is that true?
100%. Like, the conversation that me and Kordell had after the recoupling, and he came and gave me a hug and was like, I'm sorry, I never intended this to go this way. We actually both apologized to each other. He was like, I'm sorry for how I handled things. And I was like, look, it's okay. Like, I'm also really sorry for how things ended, because we were both very petty in the end. And we stopped talking to each other for like a good couple of days. And I was like, it doesn't matter how we feel about each other. Like, me and Serena are going to hang out outside of this. So I'm probably going to see you around again. So like, kumbaya, we're all good. And so leaving, like, we literally were, no one had beef. Like, we were all very much friends.
I love that. How sick of you, how sick of you are you of avocado toast right now?
I don't eat avocado toast. And like, I keep saying that's like my number one comment in my life is like, do you guys only eat avocado toast and cheese toasties? I'm like, well, if you saw like the breakfast that Kordell was bringing, the iconic day where he brought the breakfast for both of us, whenever he brings breakfast, it was always like bread with jam on it, and he would make avocado toast for Serena, but he would bring us the same breakfast, just different toast. Yeah.
Wow, smart. But he got, Serena threw his on his chest, so he didn't, she didn't get to eat that.
See that happen. I didn't know that happened until like we went downstairs to go eat the food, and I was talking to the Casa girls, and they're like, did you see that? And I was like, no. Like, I was literally paying attention to myself. I said, thanks for my breakfast. He went to talk to her. I was like giving them space. At that time, we were not friends. Like, we did not speak to each other. It was a hostile situation. So like, of course, like, I wasn't going to be like staring at him giving her breakfast.
How much of your mind, or how much did you allow your thoughts to wander to how the audience is receiving you at home? Because, we've seen that in there of like, oh, I bet, or even when they read some of the tweets from people, and Leah kind of got a nasty tweet about her. And did that concern you at all? Did you think like, oh my gosh, I bet the audience feels this way about me? Or did you try to put that to the back of your mind?
No, up until that point, I thought the audience loved me, because I thought everyone was like, well, okay, not that point. Maybe a few days before, I thought that everyone loved me. It was like, well, because Serena was so vulnerable in the time she was in Casa, and she was so upset, and you really start to see that she really likes him, then I'm now the villain. Even though like 5 minutes ago, everyone was like, and even after Sun, they were like, oh yeah, send someone in for Kordell. As soon as I got there, they were like, oh no, never mind. Like, send her home. Like, we hate her. Like, she's terrible. She's bad. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
well, that's what's crazy about reality television, is that we need a hero and we need a villain, and those things can change within 24 hours. And that's what's like, well, no, but I think you went out of there a hero. Like, I think people genuinely respect you. And I think that the girls all bonded together in this sort of way. That's what I think it's really interesting to focus on your relationship with Serena, how you guys like kind of handled things, and you were great. Whereas like us men, like the fact that Kordell comes in there is like, you know what? I'd like to keep getting to know you. And you're like, that's wild, after he knew that was not the case, but he just was so scared to like let you down. That is such a guy move.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that's when I don't know what my confessionals were, but I remember saying like, I'm getting a bit confused because I can tell that he really likes Serena, but he still keeps saying like, we should keep trying it. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, I could tell before he even told me that like he was like 100% into Serena. And I just didn't like the treatment I was getting for him. So I was getting over it anyway. So yeah, it was really interesting to like have the whole experience.
Yeah. Well, now the big controversy, even though I don't think this is a controversy at all, I think this is really easily explainable. But Kordell obviously is the brother of Odell Beckham. And it was said that you left. I love as a grown man. It was said that you left 2 heart emojis on an Odell Beckham post from like a long time ago. And yeah, when was it?
July 2023. I just found that out this morning.
July 2023, somebody pulled this out of nowhere and said, you left 2 heart emojis, and they posted proof, but you can tell that it is photoshopped. I mean, you can tell it's Photoshopped, but this was sent out there almost kind of like you got on Love Island just to get to Odell Beckham through his brother Kordell, which makes zero sense. Did that blow your mind when you heard about this?
I was so pissed. And I think my reaction says a lot because Leah, when she was reading that tweet, she read it about 4 times because she had to continue to read it properly for like the cameras to pick up on it and the audio and everything. So I had heard that tweet multiple times. So they're like, she didn't even hear like the whole tweet before she started crying. Of course, because I literally had heard it multiple times. I was already really upset. And Kordell knew as soon as he heard his brother's name, he was like, well, that's me and you. Like, who else could it be, you know? And so I was like, fuck. And it was really upsetting that there was people really genuinely believed that I like had done this. And in my mind, I knew 100% I had never ever went on Odell Beckham's page and like commented anything. But I was like, well, there was a photo of like my ex-boyfriend that they were together at dinner. They're not friends.
From 2017, right? Like your boyfriend from 2017. Yeah.
At some point he had dinner with Odell Beckham and like a couple of his friends because they had a mutual friend. They're not friends at all, but they had went to dinner together and all this stuff. So then people, when I came out of the villa, I saw that the comment that they made or the comment that I allegedly made 7 months after the thing was posted. Like he posted it in July and allegedly I commented on my birthday, like heart emoji or whatever. Even though the heart is broken, you can tell it's photoshopped, right? So then people now started finding my recent ex-boyfriend and they're like, well, he doesn't have OBJ on his Instagram, so she's lying, she's a liar. Like, I'm like, literally this morning I went on Instagram, I took the photos of my 2017 boyfriend and I was like, look guys, this is the actual photo I'm talking about. They actually went to dinner. This is when I actually learned about who he was. And I don't watch sports, so like I think they think that I said like I don't know who he is. Of course I know who he is. Everyone knows who he is. I know he's a football player. Do I know what team he plays for? Do I know anything else about him? Yeah. No. Do I know his stats? Do I know that? Like, no. And I think the thing that's really crazy, like if we really use critical thinking here, I would never kiss someone and then turn around and be like, hey, so your brother. Like it would have
What's your brother's story? Is he still dating Kim?
More sense. Right. It would have made more sense for me to pair up with Miguel, Kendall, Aaron, anyone else. And then become really close friends with Kordell and be like, hey, Kordell, so what do you think of, do you know what I mean? Why would I make out with you? Yes. Dry hump him and then go to his brother.
I mean, it's a funny narrative that just holds no water. But anyways, moving on from that, the other people, who do you think's you had boots on the ground. Who do you think is going to win this thing? Who do you think is going to win and who are you pulling for to win?
I think that, and I don't know because I have a weird perspective. I love Kendall and Nicole. But everyone seems to not like them when I go live.
Well,
like, I get it. But I haven't watched the show.
Kendall seemed to be pushing the men into bad situations in Casa Amor. And I think that was like kind of a little sticky. But they do seem like a very strong relationship that they have both not strayed at this point. So I think, they have a good chance. But I didn't know if you were kind of secretly rooting for Kordell and Serena.
Well, so I think who is going to win from my perspective is Kendall and Nicole because they have such a strong connection and they got back to, he was like one of the guys that like came back and didn't do anything bad in Casa and they really like each other. And I've had like genuine conversations where he really likes her. And the fact that people think he's a master manipulator, I literally think he's like Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He just is like innocent and told him this to his face. But I'm like, I really find you like him because he's so goofy and sweet and kind and just like you, he just has no bad bone in his body. He's just like so nice that like I
but he kept trying. He made out with Daniela as much as he possibly could, and like poor Kaylor was. Poor Kaylor was like there was like the ocean was just Kaylor's tears.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking about Kendall and Nicole.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to Kaylor. Okay,
no,
you're right.
Kendall and Nicole. So I think that they could win, but I am rooting for Serena and Kordell to win because I mean. We've gone through a lot together. I feel like they're really happy together. You can genuinely see that they like each other. And apparently everyone in the world loves Serena because they all hate me. They're all team Serena and like.
No, I really don't think you are as heated as you think. But that's what I was also. How much are you spending on the blogs? Are you going back and watching the episodes? How involved are you getting at this point?
Yeah, I haven't watched any of the episodes that I'm in. I have not watched not one episode except for the one where I got eliminated because I had to watch that before After Sun. I don't know if I want to watch it right now. I feel like I would have PTSD but like I just don't really want to watch it at the moment. But it's interesting because like as soon as I got my phone back, I was by myself and I got like about 1,000 comments on one photo of people just saying they absolutely hate me, and they're like, Team Serena, we hate you, like we hope you die, all these things. And I'm like, then I went on live and I'm like, hey guys, like no need to be team, like some people were like, we're Team Daia. And I'm like, there's no Team Daia, Team Serena. Like we like each other. You can like both of us at the same time, and that's completely okay. You don't have to be like, if I like Serena, I have to hate Daia. Like we actually get along. And I think people are really taking the Odell Beckham comments and all these fake little narratives that they're making up about me, and they're really running with it, and they're like, we love Serena, you're horrible, you're such a liar, and all these things. So I am getting like a lot of hate, but to be honest, some of them are kind of funny. Someone said to me yesterday, they said like boo, and then they said like 6 tomatoes to me, and I was like, you know what, for creativity, that's actually pretty good. Like
boo, 6 tomatoes, that's like the Shakespeare of slander.
Exactly.
Well, I don't think that at all. In fact, I think you should like hold your head up high. And I think that's just social media. And that's part of like the interactive experience of this. I will say they did you kind of dirty with the preview for that one night where it almost looked like you and Kordell were doing more in that bed. Cause I even watched it and said, oh my God, I couldn't like, and then I watched it. I was like, oh, that's just like in the morning.
Yeah.
So that was kind of wild, and I could see where people might have, because they were interspersing it with Serena back in the other place, kind of longing for Kordell. But other than that, no. I know I just have a couple more minutes with you. You're a travel blogger. You live currently in Los Angeles. What are you up to next, and has this experience soured you on dating at all?
No, I feel like this experience made me know what I'm looking for, and you know, I wouldn't say I'm excited to date. I'm kind of holding off on that at the moment. But like, I think moving forward, I'm actually going to Europe with my best friend in a couple weeks. So I'm just like, I need a break from all this dating situation. Like, I just need to relax. Maybe I'll find a nice little Italian man or like have a whirlwind romance or something. But like right now, I'm really just like relaxing and getting back to traveling. I'm so excited to get back to like traveling and doing more work in like the creative space, because I did have a job for like a year when I lived in Australia. I've just literally moved back from Australia a week before the show. So yeah, I'm kind of just like excited to put my feet on the ground in LA, get a little bit more settled, travel a little bit more, and enjoy my life and my friends.
Can we get you on Vanderpump Rules maybe?
Yeah, I mean, please. I would love to go. I need to go to her restaurant.
Something about her, the sandwich place. Yeah, something about her. That would be amazing.
Restaurant in West Hollywood.
Oh, Tom, Sir, all of those places Lisa owns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you'd be great on Vanderpump Rules. 2 more things before we leave. Kane was going off on live. I think you were in the background on one of them. Yeah. I mean, what is this guy like to be around? Because he just seemed like a little bit of a sourpuss when he left. What was your take on him? And also, what's your take on Rob? Because, you know, I've gone back and forth on what I think about this man over the last month.
Someone else just told me that same thing. So with Kane is like, he is not the type of person to listen to rules. And in Love Island, there is rules. Like, we have to stick to certain things. Can't leave the villa, can't go buck wild. Like, there's certain things that you have to do, you know? And so Kane is definitely not for that at all. So I think coming out, he's like, fuck this, I don't need this, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like saying his opinion. And I think it's kind of cool, because I'm like, a lot of people wouldn't say all these things, and he's really just going crazy. But like, being around him, he's such a genuine person. And there was a video like in the background, I was like talking, and I said, can't wait for Serena to come home so that we can hang out in LA. And someone took that and was like, she said she wants Serena kicked off and blah, blah, blah. And Kane made a separate video and was like, stop bullying her. She did not say that, blah, blah, blah. And like, again, I've debunked that. So that was trash anyway. But he's so kind and so loving. And like, it really did affect him when like people were messaging him. We were on the same flight home, and people were messaging him, and they're like, we hope your plane crashes and blah, blah, blah. And they were just being they were being so mean to Kane about his teeth, about all these things. And Kane is such a handsome guy. Like, he is really handsome. He's so sweet. He's so genuine. He is just like a little firecracker, and he's just going to say how it is, or what his opinion of it is, you know? I'm like, his opinion is different to mine, but like, yeah.
And then Rob, what was your take? Because he's like a mystery. He's an enigma to me.
He's a mystery to me too. He is so nice. but we didn't really have many conversations. He's very much introverted. He keeps to himself. He's not going to involve himself in unnecessary like nonsense, but he was very kind to me when he paired up with Daniela, and obviously I'm her friend, so he'd make her cheese toasties at night, and I'd be like, Rob, can you please make me a cheese toastie? And he would always make me cheese toasties. So I love Rob. I have nothing bad to say about him, but he is a very mysterious guy. I feel like once you actually start getting to know him and have those one-on-one conversations, he kind of opens up more, but I just didn't get to have that with him.
Yeah. Well, Daia, this is all the time I have with you, but I have a million more questions for you, but I'm so excited to have gotten this opportunity. Thank you for spending it with me and my audience. Hold your head up high, because I think you walked out of there amazing. Don't listen to any haters. And I hope to see you on our TV screen soon, and but be careful meeting that Italian man this summer. Just do you.
Yeah, I will. I'll be with my best friend. We'll be enjoying the food.
Thanks, Daia.
Bye.